Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I want to share some gentle movement practices for your neck. I know the neck can be such a problem area for a lot of people. And before we begin, I just want to say if you have anything medically speaking going on in your neck, make sure that you're cleared to do these particular movements before you give them a try. If you're dealing with pain and stiffness, you've probably tried doing a lot of neck stretches and maybe you get some temporary relief, maybe you don't get much relief at all. But I'm guessing if you've come into this video that you're looking for a little bit of something different. So we'll be focusing on moving the neck, and we'll be focusing on moving the neck in a range that is not super painful. So that's kind of nice if you're dealing with pain in your neck. When we're talking about the neck, we're talking about the joints of the spine from this bump that you may be able to feel here in your upper back up to the base of the skull. And in this part of the body, a lot of the time when we're looking down at something, we spend none of our lives doing this, right, these days. So when we're looking down at something, a lot of that movement comes down from the lower joints of the neck, which is fine. I know that gets demonized a lot, but it's a neck movement. It exists. The thing is that sometimes it can be really helpful to mobilize the upper joints of the neck a little bit more. And so that's what we're focusing on today. You may have some sensation when we do this. If so, we're going to try to keep that sensation light. Some people will find you don't have a lot of sensation when you do these movements at all. And I just want to let you know, if that's the case for you, that sensation doesn't mean something's working. So if you feel something, all it means is your brain is alerting to what you're doing and you're feeling some sensation. That's it. Doesn't mean the exercise is helpful or not helpful for you either way. So if you're willing to kind of go along this journey with me, I'm just going to guide you through feeling what you feel, and you're going to just see what the experience is like. We're going to start by drawing some circles with the tip of your nose. Some people find this is easier to do with your eyes closed because you're not distracted by the visual field. To do this, you're going to imagine you have something flat, maybe a notebook or a wall, right in front of your face. And the tip of your nose, you got a little crayon here in your imagination. Feel free to give it a color. You're going to use that imaginary crayon to trace small circles on that imaginary flat object. Sometimes it can be really interesting to actually use a notebook or your hand just to kind of feel what that flat plane movement feels like. Start small. And then if you want to make this movement any bigger, I encourage you to stick in that flat plane. So you're keeping the tip of your nose on that real or imagined flat surface. Yes, this is going to limit your range of motion. So you're not doing big circles like this. You're keeping the tip of your nose on that flat circle. That's going to bring more of the movement up into the upper joints of your neck. Slow the movement down. See if you can find a range of motion where the movement is smoother and rounder. Just getting curious about any places it feels jerky or like it's skipping over part of the circle. And then this piece is really helpful. Notice which direction you're going because it's easy to lose track of that. Slow that circle down. Come back to center. Pause in the center. Notice how you feel. And then we're going to go the opposite direction. So whichever way you were started out, I'm going to do circles the other way now. Still remaining in that flat plane of movement. Noticing sensations. Seeing if you can focus on smoothing the movement out and rounding out those circles. And then when you feel complete, you're going to come to stillness. Allow everything to settle and be still. Noticing what you feel. The next thing we'll do here, some people like to bring their hand up to the back of the neck if you can comfortably reach, because it gives you a sense of what your neck is doing. We're going to really think about moving the skull on the top joint of the neck and not so much using the joints of the neck that are below that. So really thinking about moving from the skull primarily. You're going to take your chin in toward your throat. Yes, there's probably some movement in those other top joints of the neck, but the lower joints of the neck are relatively still. And then you're going to come back to your starting position, maybe even lift your chin slightly, but only so far as you can keep that at the top joint or two of your neck. Really trying to isolate. Once you have a sense of it, maybe you can remove your hand and still feel. Noticing what it feels like to nod through this area. And then you might nod that top joint and then continue down the neck. And here you're going to go slowly. Pay attention to sensations. So we're not looking to really push into any painful sensations, being gentle as you go. Maintaining that movement you got out of the top joints of the neck before you add movement lower down. And just notice, how does this feel different from maybe how you normally move your neck? Go light over any areas that are painful. So we're keeping those sensations relatively light and easy. And then you're going to roll back up, thinking about unfurling the neck, one joint at a time. And take a moment to notice how that feels, having moved that way. And then sometimes again, it helps to bring your hand up. So we're going to take the skull side to side, gently. Yes, some movement maybe in those top joints of the neck, but not really necessarily pushing down into those lower joints. Really seeing if you can keep the movement small and subtle. Pay attention to what you feel and hear as you explore this range of motion. And then maybe you want to add a little more movement, bringing your ear closer to your shoulder, maybe not. But get that movement from the top part of the neck first. Coming back up. And the skull first. And then if you want to go a little further this time, you might do so, noticing how that feels. And then come back up. So I'm guessing for a lot of people, this feels less dramatic than when we move from those bottom joints first. It can be really lovely as a way to kind of balance out what's going on in your neck, get those top joints moving a little bit more. I hope you found this really helpful. If questions have come up, or if you have some experiences you want to share, I'd love to hear those in the comments. Take really good care.